Welcome to the Haitian Studies Association Island in the Chain series. This particular event is titled Kenya's Intervention in Haiti, an interrogation of impetus, objectives, and consequences. Nous comptons ouais, tout le monde qui est avec nous à matin, après-midi, et nous venons pour assister à série événements que nous avons organisé depuis commencement année, yon zile dans chaîne. Événement ça aujourd'hui a relé intervention Kenya en Haïti, interrogation, cause yo, objectif yo, ak conséquences yo. Donc, bienvenue tout le monde. I just want to take the time to say for those of you who are going to be listening in English, now is the time to click on the interpretation button. It looks like a little globe at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and select the language in which you will be listening, because we have one speaker who's Haitian Creole speaking. And so for those of you who need to listen in English, please go ahead right now and click the button. Donc, pour tout le monde qui veut écouter en créole, n'a demandé que vous allez dans en bas écran Zoom nan côté wap joindre yon petit globe, un petit cercle qui marque interprétation, wap cliquer sur lui pour choisir créole, comme ça wap capable d'entendre intervention moun qui parler en anglais directement en créole. So hopefully everybody's selected their room. Espérer tout le monde choisi langue qui puisse à l'aise pour vous. Donc, avant que, before I turn the speaking opportunity to my guests, and first to Naya, who's a co-moderator, I wanted to recognize the different partners who've made this event possible, especially in supporting simultaneous interpretation, which is extremely important for us to be able to do these events. It's part of Haitian Studies' commitment to decolonize and to make more accessible what we do here in the diaspora to Haitians proper in Haiti, and it's also part of our efforts to broaden and make connections with other area studies, but just other fields of studies that we think Haitian studies should be speaking to. So I wanted to recognize the partners. We have the Kimberly Green Latin American and Caribbean Center at Florida International University, and this is, of course, in addition to the Haitian Studies Association. We have from New York University 2 different centers, the Center for the Study of Africa and African Diaspora. And we have here with us the director, Dr. Michael Gomez, who will be moderating the conversation between our 2 Kenyan panelists, Willie Mutunga and Boniface Mwangi. And of course, we also have the Latin American and Caribbean Studies Center, which the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies, and we have with us Naya Toussaint, who's the assistant director. We also have as another partner Haitian Studies Institute at the City University of New York, and of course the Global Race Lab within the Department of Global International Studies, where I am an assistant professor, and the School of Social Sciences at the University of California, Irvine. Have made this event possible, so we thank them. And with that said, I'm going to cede the floor to Naya Toussaint, who's going to set us up into the conversation that we hope to have today. Thank you, Naya.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Naya Toussaint, and as a member of the Haitian Studies Association and assistant director for the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies at NYU, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, to see your name, and to see our esteemed guests in the place. M'di honneur et respect. M'contempoel. Today, across multiple time zones and continents, we continue HSA's Island in the Chain series that began in January of this year. Island in the Chain critically investigates Dominican and Haitian international affairs, including border politics, migration, and natural disaster. My fellow comrade, Dr. Mamira Duje Prosper, and I frame these conversations through an unwavering commitment to social justice that seeks to center activists on both sides of the island and in its diaspora. Currently, we gather alongside comrades from Haiti, Kenya, the United States, and Canada because there is a smell in the air. My friends, there is a very suspicious, lethal, yet familiar smell in the air. Before I name the smell, it is imperative that I remind you why we wake up every morning as if we were hounds, smelling the air for blood. November 18th, 2023 marked the 220th anniversary of the last battle of the Haitian Revolution that was fought at Vertières. A victorious day indeed, but the establishment of the first sovereign Black republic in our world has not stopped the smell of Afro-Indigenous blood from filling the air. We wake up every morning smelling the air because between 1952 and 1959, 90,000 Kenyans were executed, tortured, or maimed by the British government for daring to believe they could govern themselves. We smell for blood when white folks smell for fresh pancakes and bacon because we remember the US occupation of Haiti when Marines wore blackface as an attempt to blend in with the very people who they were stealing gold from, releasing bullets on, and literally pinning to door slabs to rot in the sun. We, both Kenyans and Haitians, people of mountainous lands, join Africa and its diaspora, engaging the weather with our noses, because we know that even though the world will kill us before letting us govern ourselves, before the world will kill us before letting us figure out our own route to just and democratic Black sovereignty, Black folks deserve to govern themselves, and to do that without having to prove our allegiance to empire by forsaking one another. Today we gather because there is a scent here. The smell I'm talking about is the smell that causes us to question why Kenya is sending troops to Haiti on behalf of the United Nations and the United States. With each waft, this sense becomes easier to recognize. One gust reveals this current moment is a continuation of the United States meddling in Haitian politics since 2004. Another gust reveals how Kenyan and de facto Haitian heads of state are blackface minstrels, ready to sing and dance on Black graves if it means they get to shake hands in New York City, while UN troops spread everything but peace and stability back home. I'm called to remember that Jean-Dominique of Radio Haiti, an agronomist, spoke about such scents and our need to sniff them out every morning. To remember how easy he said it was during the Duvalier dictatorship to be hit with the scent of corrupt regimes sustained by paramilitia gangs and police, who always rose each day ready to squeeze and break the bones of the people. At the same moment, Dominique named that there was a scent in the air. And while there was a scent in the air, there was something deep, deep in the ground that was ready to blossom. Beloved, this week marks a US holiday where we can witness how empire can only express gratitude at the expense of Indigenous and Black communities having to mourn our blood being spilled into the ground for the sake of another political project. We gather today not only to interrogate the impetus of this moment between Kenya and Haiti, but to join in the long-standing traditions of Pan-Africanism and question, what will we do about this pungent, consistent, toxic smell that filled our nostrils once again this morning? In closing, I wonder, what is in the ground that is ready to blossom, as Jean-Dominique says? During this week in the United States, where gratitude is dependent on a context of Black mourning over bloodshed, and for the sake of our time together right now, I would like to put Dominique in conversation with Black liberation theologian James Cone, who said, Black blood is crying out to God from the ground all over this land. Is anybody listening to the cries of Black blood? Is anybody listening to the cries of that strange fruit where there's blood on the leaves and blood on the root? As we welcome you to Island in the Chain, I invite you to sniff the scent, that is passing through the hearts of our countries, and to listen to that strange fruit that is deep, deep in the grounds, ready to blossom, even with blood on the leaves and blood on the root. Welcome to Kenya's intervention in Haiti, an interrogation of impetus, objectives, and consequences. I thank you for being here. We are so honored. I don't know if folks know, but we are, if you saw the flyer, you saw how many time zones there were on that flyer. And that was because our speakers are coming from that from those time zones. And not only did we want to welcome you who are also across various time zones, but this is all just really something we got to sniff out, y'all. And so as I pass it back to my comrade, Dr. Mamira Duje-Prosper, I say just...
All right, Naya, thank you for setting us up. And someone asked for transcripts to show up. I'm not sure how to do that myself. If you could help out, Naya. So thank you again for setting us up. I want to remind folks again about the translation options if you're just coming in. Donc, si vous avez moun k'ap koute en créole, wap wè ke en bas écran Zoom nan gon ti bouton ka pese pour choisir créole comme langue et m'koto ka koute sa pa discuter a. So I first want to invite Dr. Jemima Pierre, who will be our first speaker. She is a professor of global race at the Social Justice Institute at the University of British Columbia and a research associate at the Center for the Study of Race, Gender, and Class at the University of Johannesburg. She is also the co-coordinator of the Haiti Americas team of the Black Alliance for Peace. Welcome, Dr. Jemima Pierre. Thank you for being with us this morning and for launching this conversation. So I cede the floor to you to set us up, and then we will have afterwards with us Georges Lucien. Thank you, Jemima. Take it away.
Thank you. Bonjour tout le monde. Bien content là avec nous. Good morning. For me, it's good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here and I'm grateful to be part of this conversation. And I thank the HSA for giving me the opportunity to be in conversation with everyone. Okay, so I wrote my comments, so I will just go ahead and start.
Just a quick remark, if you could read as slowly as possible.
That's right.
Not too quick, not too quick.
Okay, wonderful. On the weekend of January 31st and February 1st, 2003, a group of high-level white, Western, and Latin American diplomats met in Ottawa, Canada, to discuss Haiti. Participants included the Liberal Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, the Secretary of State for Canada for Latin America, members of the European Economic Commission, 2 high-ranking U.S. State Department officials, among others. Dubbed the Ottawa Initiative on Haiti, the objective of the meeting was to decide the future of Haiti's governance. No Haitian government officials were in attendance. As later revealed by Canadian journalist Michel Vastel, the high-ranking Western officials openly discussed the need for the departure of Haiti's elected president, the need to put a trusteeship over Haiti and the need to find political American and military support for these. A year later, in the early morning hours, February 29, 2004, officials from the US Embassy in Haiti, accompanied by heavily armed US Marines, the Special Ops, came to the home of the Haitian president, Aristide, and him and his family were taken to the airport and directed onto an unmarked US jet. The president was flown out of Haiti and to the Central African Republic. This would be on the anniversary of the founding of Haiti through the culmination of its revolution in 1804. While this was happening, US Ambassador to Haiti, James Foley, went to the home of Haiti's Supreme Chief and had him installed as Haiti's new interim president. By this time, 2,000 US, French, and Canadian soldiers were already on the ground in Haiti. They had arrived the day before. Much of what we hear about Haiti today is a distortion or outright fabrication of Haiti's social and political reality. Much of it lacks historical context. Much of it is based on a deep racism that presumes that Black people are ungovernable. Thus, if even people think about Haiti, it is either to dismiss it as a failed state, a country that seems to be always in crisis and can't get its act together, or to pity Haiti as a people who can't get a break. Now, I argue that the 2004 coup d'etat, enabled and funded by the US, France, and Canada, has been one of the most consequential events, not only for Haiti, but also for regional and global politics in terms of US foreign policy. And importantly, for a struggle for decolonization, which is still needed today. The Haitian anthropologist Michel Roth-Trio once stated that the more Haiti appears weird, the easier it is to forget that it represents the longest neo-colonial experiment in the history of the West. To understand what's going on in Haiti right now is to understand that it is a country that is suffering from the Western counter-revolution to its successful revolution. On October 2nd, 2023, the United States presented to the United Nations Security Council a resolution calling for the authorization of its long-planned military invasion of Haiti, Resolution 2699, which passed under a Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter, allows for the use of deadly force against an individual state. It must be pointed out that despite receiving the blessing of the Security Council, this security support mission is not an official UN mission. Rather than being funded by the UN, the mission will be primarily funded by the US, which has already committed $200 million. The calls for military intervention in Haiti have ignored an important and consequential fact. Haiti is already under occupation. Calls for intervention are not only disingenuous, but actually redundant. Indeed, this will be the fourth foreign armed intervention in Haiti in 30 years, though this does not count other US and Canada military encroachment into Haiti over the years. And the passing of this October 2023 resolution for a large-scale multilateral international armed invasion occurs while key structures of the last Chapter 7 resolution and invasion, which passed in 2004, these structures still remain in place. But there seems to be a general refusal to acknowledge that Haiti has been under US and Western occupation since 2004, an occupation managed by the machinery of the United Nations and covered by the discourse of multilateralism. Indeed, the simple facts of both the 2004 coup and the violence of the international legal mechanisms used against Haiti and its people have been shamefully ignored. What enables this refusal to acknowledge the occupation of Haiti, an occupation that reflects the ways that Western imperialism depends on what legal scholar China Mivel calls multilateralism as terror. Now, I briefly demonstrate how it is precisely the structure of the occupation that denies its existence. On the same day of the 2004 coup, two permanent members of the UN Security Council, the United States and France, the same two countries behind the coup d'etat that ousted Haiti's elected president, these two countries pushed for the Security Council to unanimously pass a resolution that authorized a multinational interim force, presumably to stabilize Haiti. Thus, the 2004 illegal coup d'etat was both enforced and cleaned up with the sanction of the UN. On June 1st, 2004, the UN officially took over from US and Canadian forces and established the United Nations Stabilizing Mission in Haiti, or MINUSTA. This was for the task of military occupation under the guise of establishing peace and security. A multi-billion-dollar operation, MINUSTA had at any given time between 6,000 and 12,000 military and police troops stationed in Haiti alongside thousands of bureaucrats, technical staff, and civilian personnel. In a horrific parallel to the first US occupation, 1915 to 1934, MINUSTA soldiers committed numerous acts of violence against the Haitian people, including mass shootings and rape. MINUSTA soldiers were also responsible for bringing cholera into the country by dumping its feces into one of the country's main water sources. This terrible disease has officially killed 10,000 people, though the number is said to be much higher, much more around 30,000, and also infected almost 1 million people. Despite the deaths and despite the evidence proving their culpability, the United Nations not only took 6 years before it acknowledged culpability, but has enjoyed immunity from both prosecution and reparations. But what most solidified this occupation was the creation and operationalization of the core group. The core group, a self-styled council consisting of diplomats of foreign countries with political and economic interest in Haiti, combined with representatives of a number of multilateral organizations and agencies, including the IMF and the World Bank. This core group was established as part of the UN resolution that brought these foreign soldiers and technocrats to Haiti in 2004. The core group's stated goal was to oversee Haiti's governance through the coordination of various branches and elements of the United Nations missions in Haiti. While the membership of the group has fluctuated, it currently has 9 members: Brazil, Canada, France, Germany, Spain, the US, the European Union, the Organization of American States, and the United Nations. Significantly, the group has never had a Haitian representative and often meets without Haitian representation. Neither neutral nor passive, the core group plays an active interventionist role in Haiti's everyday political affairs. We also have clear documentation from the WikiLeaks files and various other internal forces that the US, in collusion with MINUSTA and the core group, also overrode Haitian democracy in 2011 and again in 2016 to install both the neo-devaluerist Michel Martelly and his PHTK party alongside Martelly's protege and successor Jovenel Moïse. For example, soon after Moïse was killed, its representatives, the core group, selected Haiti's de facto prime minister, Ariel Henry, without any consultation. Henry, put in place and enabled by the US and the core group, is the one who the US and other Western media refer to as, quote, the Haitian government. While it is claimed that the occupation that began in 2004 officially ended in 2017, with the formal drawdown of the military part of the MINUSTA mission, the UN has remained in Haiti through a new office with a new acronym, BINU, the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti. If the UN occupation mission did indeed end, why was the core group and the BINU office left behind, and why are they granted so much power? In Haiti's case, imperialism is not a metaphor. It is a hierarchical structure established through the power of the United States as the superpower, which then outsources the colonial control of Haiti to others, hence the role of Kenya. Thus, for example, one of the reasons the occupation of Haiti that began in 2004 is not deemed as such is that it was initiated and largely funded by the US and the United Nations, and then Haiti's sovereignty has been extinguished by a multiracial coalition of Caribbean, Latin American, and African countries. This is the most sinister part of the and least talked about aspect of the occupation. So how do you hide this imperialist intervention? Is by really using other faces in order to cover up for US imperialism. The current occupation of Haiti is what I call multilateralism in the service of US imperialism. And we can say this about other places, for example, such as the Congo, where US and Western imperial interests are being carried out under the guise of multilateralism. You see then how the US funded Kenya-led multilateral invasion of Haiti is a smokescreen for US imperialism. But there's also another point to stress as I round up. Imperialism in Haiti depends specifically on a basic racist assumption that has been propagated by the West since 1791, that the Haitian people cannot govern themselves, that Haiti needs a paternalistic guidance of white foreign powers. It does not matter that the so-called failures of Haiti's democracy are due to meddling and destabilization by those very white foreign powers, very same white foreign powers. How else do we account for the reality that despite protests, some Kenyan and Caribbean politicians affirmed the racist words of former US Ambassador to Haiti, Pamela White, who brazenly declared, quote, "It is time to throw away the gloves and stop pretending that normal diplomacy will work in Haiti," end quote. After all, Aimé Césaire reminds us, we are dealing with the only race which is denied even the notion of humanity, end quote. I must point out that US imperialism also involves a gamut of activities from diplomatic influence to cultural warfare, in addition to military intervention. It depends on a wide range of institutions and actors, a diverse set of strategies, including the US State Department, the Central Intelligence Agency, the United States Information Agency, which effectively determines how the occupied states' funds are to be distributed, funding both accepted Western NGO projects and local controlled opposition youth groups, US and Western media, which often serve as the mouthpieces for the ruling class, preparing the cultural ground for the outside world to accept whatever actions are planned for those under occupation, local and Western-based churches and missionaries, and most importantly, the neighboring neocolonial governments. This can clearly be seen in the recalibration of US policy through the new Global Fragility Act, where there is the coming together of the US State Department, the Department of Defense, and USAID to carry out US interests. Haiti was named as the first country to deploy this new policy, which was established in 2019. The use of regional and other partners to carry out US foreign policy interests, without the need to deploy the US military or lose US soldiers' lives. Under this new policy, the US has established a 10-year plan for Haiti that will be based on recalibrating its politics, Haiti's politics, to make the country more amenable to exploitation, but under the guise of democracy building. The first stage of that plan was successful, with Kenya accepting the role to help achieve US policy objectives on the cheap. Of course, this will not be the first time that the US would occupy Haiti and completely change its politics to make it amenable to exploitation. Haiti, remember, was under a brutal US military occupation that began with a July 1915 invasion of US Marines. In addition to the violence meted out to those who resisted during the occupation, the US forced the dissolution of the Haitian National Assembly, rewrote Haiti's constitution that now allowed foreign ownership of land, put in charge governments that would sign treaties, including the Treaty of Occupation, and took over all control of Haiti's customs, revenues, and most of the country's finances, as well as its security. Well, the military aspect of the invasion and occupation was justified, presumably through legally binding treaties. In fact, as soon as the US began its occupation of Haiti, it installed Haitian President Félix Dartinigave, who signed the US drafted Treaty of Occupation titled "The Treaty Between Haiti and the United States Regarding the Finances, Economic Development, and Tranquility of Haiti," end quote. This treaty was signed September 1915, soon after the invasion and the beginning of the occupation. We cannot help but see the parallels here. In 1915, at the same time as its sovereign independence was being internationally recognized by some in the West, Haiti was actually less independent than it had been in 200 years. We can say the same today. where we are being told that occupied Haiti has a government that is asking for intervention, when that is in fact not true. So to understand Haiti's predicament is to understand not only that Haiti is currently under foreign rule, but also the ways that this rule is being enacted. Unlike the first occupation in 1915 to 1934, this one is being done under the cover of Black faces, those from Kenya, as well as those from the Caribbean community, or CARICOM. So I want to end by reminding us that Haiti is the site of one of the longest struggles for Black liberation and the anti-colonial independence in the world. It is for this reason we must also understand why the US empire's interest in the expansion of its hegemony has resulted in the constant reactionary onslaught against the people of Haiti and decades of instability for the nation. The 2 centuries-long imperial counterinsurgency against Haiti has aimed to terminate the most ambitious revolutionary experiment in the modern world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jemima Pierre, for setting up the framework, the conversation, and the things that we need to be considering in this moment, and that being that Haiti is and has been under foreign rule over the last 20 years, more specifically. With that said, I am going to invite Dr. Georges-Eddy Lucien. Thank you. Merci en pile, Georges-Eddy Lucien, Dr. Georges-Eddy Lucien. He is a professor at the Université d'État d'Haïti, State University of Haiti, historian and geographer. He is a director of the Dynamic Laboratory of American Worlds at the École Normale Supérieure, that also is shared with different centers in France, Paris. He is the member of the coordination of the history department at the State University of Haiti and author of several works on territorial recompositions and urban policies in the north of Haiti in particular. And I would just lift up one of his texts that was published recently in 2018, translated into the northeast of Haiti, the pearl of a finite world between illusion and reality, open for business. Merci en pile, Georges-Eddy Lucien, pour présence ce matin, et puis moi, à baou la parole. Et s'en prie, pas parler trop vite, parce que la permet interpréter bien temps traduit.
Merci Namira et puis merci et Jemina Pierre, docteur Jemina Pierre qui porte tout éclairage ça sur enjeu qui vient sur question Haïti. Et puis m'a profité de saluer et Toussaint et puis tous les camarades et Nigérians qui ont participé et puis tout internaute qui ont suivi et présentation et jeudi, c'est-à-dire colloque international sur Haïti. Intervention li a chita sous question occupation, nous allons regarder qui enjeu, intérêt qui gagne sous question occupation. Et dans ce sens-là, il y a différents points à aborder. Premier point, c'est garder occupation par rapport à l'histoire, parce que c'est un pays qui connaît plusieurs occupations. Et puis, deuxième point, on a regardé qui particularité mouvement aujourd'hui a gagné et qui ça qui explique qu'il tourné à question occupation. Et puis, notre troisième point, nous allons regarder que gang, c'est une nécessité par rapport à mouvement social là. Et nous allons regarder par rapport à ça qui intérêt qui caché des gangs et qui sa occupation même qui a venir résoudre sur question gang là par rapport à implication ou du moins attitude que les grandes puissances gagnent par rapport avec gang là. Et puis pour nous finir, nous allons regarder pour qui ça et Gina Pierre a déjà dit, nous allons peut-être répéter et puis mettre quelques éléments pour qui ça c'est Kenya. Je veux dire. Et puis, dernière question, c'est une question Lénine toujours à poser, que tout le monde qui a bataille toujours posé, c'est que faire? TACR. Donc, on a tourné dans le premier point, qui c'est occupation au regard de question l'histoire. Haïti connaît plusieurs occupations, mais on prend quelques grandes occupations pour nous regarder qui point qui toujours à répéter dans l'occupation. Puis, gros occupation que Haïti connaît et qui est important pour nous tourner sous lui, c'est ça l'expédition l'éclair là du 102. Et nous voyons que chaque fois qu'on parle d'occupation, ou bien chaque fois qu'on fait occupation, c'est les mouvements sociaux là, ils n'ont pas qu'à casser. Levé campé Eslavio en 1791 pour la liberté, côté que Eslavio dit que il a suspend à bourriquer, c'est-à-dire pour colon, pour négociants, pour administrateurs métropole là. Métropole là mettait tout dispositif répressif que le gagne en dans colonie pour le casser. Il ouais depuis 91, 1791, arrivé à 102, il pas qu'à casser. Donc, il est obligé d'intervenir, font expédition pour intervenir pour que il rétablisse l'esclavage. Et ces mêmes bagages-là, en 1915, levé campé que Massio, de 1902 à 1915, capacité répressive yo gen dans le pays, il n'y a pas qu'à casser, ils sont obligés d'intervenir. Et ces mêmes gens, en 1994, en dépit que yo fait coup d'État 1991 là, pendant 3 ans, ils ont levé campé résistance massive. Donc, ils ont resté à tourner que ils pas présent. Donc, mouvement social là qui arrivé plus loin. Donc, ils viennent avec 20 000 soldats. Et ces mêmes gens, je dis, ils voulaient venir par rapport à niveau mouvement social là. Donc, qu'est-ce que ça nous a ouais? Ils parlé d'occupation, c'est lorsque le mouvement social a pété, ils sont incapables pour faire peuple là entrer. Donc, ça, c'est la première leçon pour nous tirer du 102 à aujourd'hui. Donc, il n'y a pas d'occupation, il n'y a pas qu'à maîtriser le mouvement social. Mais tout, un point qui toujours gagne tout, chaque fois qu'il y a parlé, pour faire occupation, il faut gagner collabo. 1802, il y a gagné 2 collabos, qui c'était colons, qui c'était de esclaves, qui étaient vivent comme privilégiés, qui c'était des mulâtres. En 1915, tout est un collabo. En 1994, tu as un collabo. Et jeudi, il y a un collabo. Moun qui m'a dit intervention, c'est le gouvernement avec un premier ministre qui sont tweets qui mettent, et puis différents membres qui sont dans le gouvernement. Donc, ça sont éléments qui sont récurrents, c'est-à-dire qu'il n'y a pas qu'à faire occupation sans collabo. Mais, question pour nous poser, pour qui ça jeudi, il y a tout. Il n'y a pas les deux occupations, il n'y a pas quoi faire. Capable de plusieurs raisons. Et ça peut le faire nous passer dans ça, les points 2. C'est qui particularité contexte jodien. Contexte jodien, pas facile pour grande puissance à contrôler. Et réalité à montrer. Si nous prenons exemple, gros levé campé contre l'occupation en 1929, et on levé campé, et pas seulement Port-au-Prince, dans différentes villes, dans le milieu rural, en boucle, contre l'occupation. Donc, qui peut faire américain fait bac, qui voulait remettre Bono pour faire Bono pour un 3e mandat, il est obligé de faire bac, il est obligé d'accord, c'est haïtien pour qui mettait un président. Mais, en dépit de ça, il est arrivé à empêcher une transition de rupture. Il est arrivé à mener en politique. Dans le premier moment, il met un monde que le monde est d'accord. Et puis après, il va faire répression sur tout le monde qui était pour une transition de rupture. Tant que Jolibois fils, tant que différents progressistes dans la période-là, tant que Jacoumet, il va arrêter de temps en temps et il va faire 2 ans en prison. Donc, il va faire peuple entrer et peuple va faire 17 ans entrer pour le tourner jusqu'en 46. Même peuple ça, levé camp en 46, il va venir avec un président qui met un chapeau, tant qu'un paysan, tant qu'on masse estimé, puis il fait le dormir et il va faire l'entrée pendant 10 ans pour le lever camper juste de 46 à 56. En 56, il levé, il va le faire entrer pendant 29 ans, 30 ans. Mais ça différent coulier, le peuple a levé 6, 7, 8 juillet, 3 mois après 17 octobre 2018, un mois après 18 novembre, et depuis lors, ils sont incapables de faire peuple entrer, ou joindre log 1, log 2, ou joindre chaque fois, je dis à un canal, chaque fois, on levé campé. Et le plus souvent, les gens levé campé comme ça, que oligarchie nationale, internationale va entrer, ou dans une situation révolutionnaire. Ça, c'est le premier élément qui est différent de l'autre mouvement social. Deuxième élément qui est différent, c'est que dans toute crise 20e siècle, que ce soit en 46, 56, 86, 94, un acteur principal que les États-Unis particulièrement, et bourgeoisie en Haïti, et l'autre grande puissance que ce soit Canada et la France toujours utilisé, c'est l'armée. L'armée, c'était un acteur pour gérer la crise. Mais je dis à l'armée pas là. Et comme l'armée pas là, et la police incapable pour le faire peuple entrer, quitte de tuer moun dans la tête, ou balle dans la tête, mais chaque fois, nous lever. Eh bien, gang nan vit non nécessité pour oligarchie nationale et internationale. C'est peut-être ça, nous pouvons rendre compte que les présidents Jovenel, pas Kakembe, li obligé de venir avec une autre institution qui était là déjà, mais qui était campé, qui est le CNDDR. Commission, c'est une création et c'est l'idée pour objectif pour désarmer gang. Et c'est institution l'État ça qui va le former, ça nous relève G9. Donc G9 là, son regroupement de gangs, 9 gangs, et qui va le diriger par un seul gang. Et qui ça le porte? Pas oublier que c'est l'État qui forme, c'est CNDDR qui est une institution de l'État qui est présidée par Jovenel, qui est dans tête, qui indiquait pour y faire. Et c'était non moment côté mouvement social qui est arrivé très très haut, il n'y a pas qu'à gérer. Et représentant BINU, qu'a dit représentant Nations Unies, il va dire que question G9 là sont bon bagaille. Depuis là, il y a plus de monde qui mourent. Il y a moins de monde qui mourent. Mais qui ça, G9 là, il vient un interlocuteur. C'est-à-dire que les que vous voulez parler, il y a 10 groupes gang, 20 gangs, n'est pas facile. Donc, il vient un coordonnateur. Et coordonnateur, ça, il peut jouer un rôle que la police n'a pas jouer. Qui premier rôle que le doit jouer? G9. Nous voyons que dans le lever campé qui fait sur, G9 joue un grand rôle. Par exemple, si on prend le lever campé 7 octobre 2018, côté que dans le lever campé ça, tu as gagné différents quartiers qui ont participé. Tant que La Saline, Cité Soleil, et il va sanctionner moun La Saline qui a participé. C'est-à-dire que 18 novembre, 17 octobre, il levé et 13 novembre, pour le bon massacre qui fait La Saline et massacre là pour le fait par représentant G9, là, coordonnateur G9. Ça, c'est rôle censeur. C'est-à-dire, rôle censeur, c'est empêcher moun yo prendre la rue. Mais G9 là joue un grand rôle encore. Il joue un rôle pour criminaliser le mouvement social. C'est-à-dire que chaque fois le peuple saute dans la rue, et puis bandit prend la rue, et ça a une possibilité pour dire bandit qui est dans la rue. Donc, nous avons, par exemple, lorsque, et ça a eu deux, côté que masse mounioté levé contre une décision que le gouvernement Ariel prend pour couper subvention l'État qui compte bail dans la question gaz. Ça veut dire que le prix gaz va augmenter. Et moun yo sorti dans la rue, dans le même moment, G9 sorti dans la rue. Et puis, vous pouvez entendre, le secrétaire général des Nations Unies a dit que moun qui dans la rue, c'est gang. Mais chaque fois qu'il fait ça, ça dit moun yo sorti, et puis gang yo vient sorti, et puis il fini, discours international a dit que c'est gang qui dans la rue. Mais pas oublier que lever campé ça, c'était lever campé, tout peuple a été fait, 6-7 juillet contre proposition FMI qui m'a dit pour que l'État haïtien suspende, subventionner, ni question courant, ni question gaz. Nous avons plusieurs exemples. Avant l'an mort Jovenel, n'avons que G9 prend la rue 1er juillet 2021. Et 1er juillet, il prend la rue et puis il demandait pour Jovenel aller. Et puis, 6 jours après, il assassiné Jovenel. 11 semaines après, G9 prend la rue pour le dire qu'il faut obéir Jovenel justice. C'est créer de confusion. Et l'autre rôle, G9 joué, c'est empêcher rencontre. Ça veut dire rencontre. Dans Port-au-Prince, sous Port-au-Prince, je dis qu'il y a près de 4 millions. Mais 69 à 70% de gens sont concentrés dans le quartier populaire. Et puis, il faut que nous ces jeunes. Et dans le quartier, il y a des quartiers qui sont des quartiers rebelles. Tant que Martissan, tant que Cafoufeuille. Dans tout les 90, c'est un quartier ça a pile organisation populaire. Et organisation ça a de relations avec des organisations progressistes dans l'université, avec des organisations syndicales et de l'autre organisation révolutionnaire qui était présente dans le quartier et qui te permettent d'aller venir dans la parole, des formations politiques qui a fait dans le quartier. Qu'il y avec présence, gang, travail politique, ça n'a pas fait. Discussion qu'on a fait aujourd'hui, nous ne pas le faire dans le quartier populaire. Donc, ils ont empêché rencontre. Et l'autre bagage que vous fait, ils ont utilisé, ils ont créé de confusion. Par exemple, pour gang qui j'ai opéré, c'est des gens qui entrent en pile cob dans le kidnapping. Ils entrent en pile cob dans le payage, c'est-à-dire les machines à passer pour chauffeur payer. Mais là, ils sortent en pantalon, bout de pantalon, dos tourné, pied à terre, tant que ces peuples-là. Donc, tout c'est pour créer confusion, alors que le monde qui a frappé, c'est toujours le peuple. Donc, gang vient en nécessité pour camper mouvement social. Mais, gang n'a posé problème tout pour eux, parce que gang généralement, sous plan milicien sous Duvalier, miliciens yo étaient subalternes par rapport à l'armée. Sous plan frappe pendant le coup d'État 91-94, frappe te gen direction, elle te gen direction aux États-Unis, mais il était plié des fois en bas l'armée. Mais je dis, gang yo, au lieu c'est yo même qui plié en bas la police, même si tous les deux ont même objectif casser le mouvement social, mais gang yo plus armé, yo gen plus moyens. Et nous songeons, les ont tué 6 policiers dans une zone qui est Liancourt, en commune qui est Liancourt. Il y a un policier qui dit, les que y a besoin, il y a plus moyens pour bataille à gang yo, Américains pas d'accord. Même drone, ils pas d'accord pour gagner. C'est-à-dire que pour assurer des équilibres entre policiers, institution de la police là, et gang yo. Donc, il y a une question que tu as posée. Pour qui ça, gang yo a joué rôle ça, et puis pour occupation tu as fait. Et bien, c'est peut-être ça le traîner. Parce que comment pour qu'a fait occupation, calmer des gangs dehors, et puis ou quitter le peuple en libre, ou quitter que moun ka entrer dans le quartier populaire, ou faire formation politique, eh bien, la rue a pas chargé à moun les manifestations, qui va le bataille pour un ensemble de revendications. Donc, nous avons demandé que pour qui ça, pour faire occupation. Mais il y a une hypothèse que pour faire occupation, c'est venir discipliner gang yo. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a des crimes qui gratuits, discipliner dans le sens pour accepter jouer rôle subalterne par rapport à la police. Donc, objectif peut-être occupation, c'est arriver discipliner gang yo. Mais bon problème, parce que le peuple lui-même, il y a une alternative. Nous voyons ça qui est passé, canapé vert. Donc, peuple là, si le peuple entendait, il tue ISO, bien il tue un chef gang, le peuple lui-même, il a tout continuer, il finit faire restaurant. Or, faire restaurant, ce n'est pas objectif occupation. C'est peut-être ça, bien hésitation sur question occupation. Ça ne veut pas dire qu'il ne va pas faire, mais s'il a fait, il faut venir discipliner. Mais question qu'a demandé, pour qui ça c'est Kenyan? Eh bien,
oui, parce que là, ça va un bon dernier point pour nous camper, pour nous
oui, ok. Pour qui ça c'est
la...
Kenyan, ce n'est pas la première fois qu'il a fait occupation, il a invité l'autre population. Dans l'expédition L'éclair, il était venu avec Polonais. Mais, Napoléon te dit polonais yo, n'a vini, et puis après moi-même, moi pral et délivrer nous, c'est-à-dire parce que dans le même moment, il était occupé la Pologne. Donc, il y a toujours besoin pour renforcer force. Mais depuis dernier temps, il y a juste sous code émotionnel population. Parce qu'il y a un problème qui vient dans la question occupation, c'est-à-dire que ce n'est pas moi un militaire qui gagne, c'est la question opinion publique là. Et je dis, ils ont perdu l'opinion publique là. Longtemps, ils ont gagné radio, ils ont gagné télévision. Aujourd'hui, sur Internet, nous avons fait conférence ça. Et sauvegarder quantité de participants, c'est-à-dire qui près de 180, là, et sans compter de l'autre monde qui pourra regarder, donc il y a une possibilité pour travail la fête, c'est-à-dire travail de construction. Donc, nous avons que tu as une occupation avec le Brésil, parce que ouais, Haïti remet football et il remet Brésilien. Et je dis, Jean-Gémina Pierre, te dire là, ils viennent avec, ils viennent avec Kenyan parce que connaît l'histoire nous-mêmes qui sortis en Afrique et d'autres questions couleur là que y a joué. Mais nous connaissons que question couleur a une limite. Ce n'est pas couleur, ce n'est pas emballage qui est bien important, c'est qui philosophie ou qui conviction. C'est-à-dire que Jacques Oumen, pas noir, mais Jacques Oumen plus proche, moins que Jovenel, ni plus proche, moins que La Fontaine, qui était ministre de l'Intérieur, tortionnaire, sous Jean-Claude. Donc, ce n'est pas question emballage, là, mais il y a joué sous question emballage, là, sous question couleur, pour que, puisque si c'est Kenyan gouvernement, nous avons anti-gens accepté. Et nous avons que le peuple n'a pas demandé d'occupation. En début de situation que vous gagnez, nous avons que par exemple, mon cas, quand vous faites une manifestation, il y a le devant la police, il dit la police, et puis il y a le devant l'armée. Il ne va jamais demander intervention. Ça me dit que l'opinion publique, là, pas en faveur. Donc, pour nous finir, que faire? Nous commençons là. C'est une baille réalité. Hein. C'est-à-dire, c'est déconstruire discours dominant qui a montré que, voilà, c'est Haïtien qui a battu entre eux, voilà, gang yo. Alors que, yo connaît que dans 48 heures, yo camper gang yo, seulement si yo pas quitter les armes yo passé. Il suffit qu'on va quitter les armes yo passé aux États-Unis que les armes n'a pas le tenir au bout de bois parce qu'il pas bien balle. Donc, on connaît qui ça pour yo faire. Donc, question déconstruire discours yo, multiplier gros colloque international ça c'est une stratégie pour nous camper. Deuxième, non, c'est renforcer connexion entre figures progressistes dans le monde là autour de questions haïtiennes. Question haïtienne pas isolée. Haïti, Jean que Jimina Pierre a dit, lance son laboratoire. C'est-à-dire que si on réussit façon que vous casser le mouvement social en Haïti, vous gangsteriser le pays, et puis vous avez des discours généreux, des politiques migratoires comme généreux pour vous. Mais après, s'il réussit, il va le répéter dans différents l'autre côté de mon bataille. Donc, il m'a dit que pour nous renforcer connexion, et renforcer connexion, c'est une activité ça, renforcer connexion en différents progressistes ou organisations. Donc, nous pensons que ces deux éléments, comme peut-être après, quand il y a des discussions qui ont mérité seconde précision, s'il y a des commentaires, mais peut-être nous avons dépassé 15 minutes là, je vais camper là, et je vais prendre s'il y a des questions, s'il y a des commentaires par rapport à l'intervention.
Merci un peu, Georges dit. Lucien, again, has made connections with Dr. Jemima Pierre's presentation as well and brought us inside of Haiti to think more about what's happening and the reason for the gang violence and occupation historically. So I'd like to invite Dr. Michael Gomez to take over these conversations. Dr. Michael Gomez is going to facilitate the conversation or the talks, the presentations by our two fellow Kenyans, Willie Mutunga and Boniface Mwangi. So Dr. Gomez, take it away.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, morning, evening to you, wherever you may be on the planet. My name is Mike Gomez, and I would like to, for the sake of time, in the interest of time, I would like to make very brief introductions for our two very distinguished guests who will discuss the vantage point of this matter from East Africa. I believe that they are both in Kenya as we speak. And I want to begin with Willie Mutunga, who was a longtime comrade and a stalwart of many struggles in Kenya, including the struggle for the return of democracy in Kenya, for which the Moi regime detained him and then forced him into exile, and the creation of a new constitution. He was a professor of law at the University of Nairobi, and he is the retired Chief Justice of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court. We are honored to have you with us and among us, Justice Mutunga, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, everybody. The question has been posed, why Kenya is sending troops to Haiti. I think it should be rephrased. And the question should be why the Kenyan leadership is sending troops to Haiti. Okay? Because as I will show, in a minute, we are saying that this deployment of troops to Haiti is not being done in our name. We have not been consulted. We haven't said yes to it. And as somebody said, it's an issue of a puppet government supporting another puppet government at the behest of US imperialism. So I've written around this issue, making a constitutional argument, which we also frame as a political argument, because our constitution clearly rests sovereign power in the people of Kenya, and there is a clear provision that even our foreign policy cannot disengage the constitution. And courts have talked about public participation in our foreign policy and the decisions that are taken by our government. So when our president basically makes that decision, a dictatorial decision, the decision that has not been approved by the people, we haven't even been asked to debate it. There has been resistance. People basically saying you cannot deploy forces against a sovereign, African nation in the name of the Kenyan people, and that's very clear from our constitution. And we've also said that countries like US, Canada, and France should respect our constitution, because they are the ones who pontificate about democracy, about the rule of law, constitutionalism. So when it comes to an issue like this one, where they are basically giving orders to our leaders who are basically their agents, comprador bourgeoisie in Kenya doesn't speak in the name of people of Kenya. And I think this has to be made very, 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 very clear, okay, that Kenya is a people, if there was consultation, I'm quite certain that they would have said no, because we still have an issue of army being used as a proxy army in Somalia, okay? When the East African people want a federation, they want a people-to-people federation in this country. But then, you sent our troops to DRC, troops to Somalia, and the position that social movements are taking, and intellectuals and other people, is basically to raise that constitutional argument and say the sovereign power that we have delegated to the president We can withdraw it because it rests, with us. And there are people, as we talk, who have gone to the High Court to, to challenge that decision for lack of the participation, the people. And that's what we can do as Kenyans, to support the sovereignty of the Haitian people. Because my view is that 21st century is about people-to-people solidarities, okay? Because the political leaderships we have in Africa, I've called them comprador. They are agents. They basically don't do anything in the interest of the people. They don't consort. And that is, the basis of the, of the struggle. And when people talk about Black Pete or Black minstrels, I think it's a great description of the kind of leadership we have. And there is, in the case of Kenya, there are a lot of these matters that are being raised, whether it's the trade partnership that Kenya is negotiating with the US. Okay, we don't know anything about it, so we're calling for participation as well, because we know very clearly that that step is just about Kenya being used, in that proxy war, cyber war between China and and the US. And so I wanted to basically make it very, very, very clear that the deployment of these troops hasn't been made in the name of Kenyans. It's a decision by the president, and we clearly know that it's an order that has come from US imperialism and its allies. Then yeah, I think that is the argument, and the reason why we've decided to participate is to emphasize that particular point, that the 21st century is about people-to-people solidarities, and we're very, very, very clear about the kind of planet we want, because the status quo of the current planet is not acceptable, is not sustainable. So we are the social movements, human rights groups, and some political parties. The vision we have of the 21st century is a planet, that is just, a planet that is free, a planet that is peaceful, non-militaristic, a planet that is gender just, non-eugenistic, ecologically safe, equitable, and prosperous. And we will continue the discussions of whether this planet should be, a socialist one, because the discussions are in that directions among many people. And so what is happening in Haiti, I want to reiterate that we are opposed to it. Our leadership hasn't called for public participation. There is no integrity in that particular decision. There's been no transparency and no, accountability. And there is our view among us is that you know, the 1,000 policemen will probably come back in body bags. And, you know, we try to stop that. Even if they are there, we want to ask the courts to give orders that they come back. And that's the court battle, but there will obviously be a civic action, you know, against it. It's part of our solidarity with the, you know, the Asian people. Because I think in the current world, Kenya has gone through British imperialism and colonialism. We were occupied, you know, our land stolen, our resources stolen, you know, and still those systems haven't left. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. We're coming from, you know, a position that no particular country should be occupied, no particular country should be should have its resources stolen, its land taken, and so a just and a free and a peaceful planet is what this is about. And I and Mwangi is going to speak, you know, in a moment. We were very, very, very happy that, you know, we were asked to speak. The reason why I've taken the constitutional argument very, very, very seriously is because, you know, I've been a Chief Justice and I know what the Constitution provides, and I can make that constitutional argument and frame it as a political question, and that's what I've done to, you know, today. And when we ask why Kenya is sending troops, please, it's not Kenya that is sending troops. It's the comprador leadership in Kenya in cahoots with the US imperialism or Western imperialism, the triad, that is betraying the voices of the Kenyan people who haven't been consulted. And I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justice Mutunga. I want to make an introduction for you, Boniface Mwangi. He's a leading photojournalist and activist. In 2012, Mwangi founded Power 254, which was a hub for creatives in Kenya, where journalists, artists, and activists found innovative ways of achieving social justice. And to put it euphemistically, he's been a guest of the state on many occasions for championing justice and calling out powerful leaders for their wanton corruption and blatant violation of human rights, earning him friends and foes alike. He has twice won the CNN Multi-Choice Africa Photojournalist of the Year Award. He is the youngest Prince Claus laureate. New African magazine named him one of the 100 most influential Africans of 2014 and 16. He's also a senior TED Fellow. Time magazine recognized him as a next generation leader in 2015. He was selected as Kenya's top 40 under 40 men in 2016. Brother Mwangi, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for the very nice introduction. When Will and I were talking earlier today, we were asking ourselves, why Haiti? What does Haiti represent to the imperialists? Because our government is not sending the troops to your country because they love Haiti or they care about Haiti. It's a contract. So basically, our government is sending a mercenary group to come and police your people. Our police are known for violence. They are known as Kenya Police Force. This year alone, they've killed about 136 people. In the month of July, they murdered 75 people, unarmed, peaceful citizens. So Kenya regime or the Kenya police are a murderous police outfit. They are the jury, the judge, the executioner. The biggest threat to peace and stability in our country is not gangs, is not criminals, but the police. They're the ones who kill witnesses. They're the ones who kill whistleblowers. They're the ones who destabilize this country. And the reason why our country is governed by criminals and someone was indicted for crimes against humanity is because the police service or the police officers murdered all the witnesses. So the biggest question for Haiti is what dirty job have the US government hired our Kenya police to come and do? I don't have the answers for that. So I'm here to provoke more discussion than answers, because I'll tell you for free, our police do not follow the law. Our police are not governed by best practices. Our police are not a model police service. Our police in our country, you're more likely to be murdered by a police officer than a gangster. There are more people killed by police bullets in my country than criminals. So as they come to Haiti, the biggest question we have to answer ourselves as we try to stop them in court. Kenyans have gone to court. We're trying to find ways to stop them from being sent to that mercenary contract. Is why are they coming to your country? What do the Americans want in your land? And we know they are in Somalia because there's oil. They're in Congo because of coltan, diamonds. They must have an interest in your country. And it is beyond the people, because I don't think they care about the Haitians. But they want something more than just being there. Is there mineral? Is it strategic for them to be in the Caribbean and saying that if we conquer the Haitians, we can conquer the rest of the area? So there's a lot of questions for me. And so my provocation is that we Kenya sending gangsters to a country. And when gangsters meet gangsters, they do not fight, they work together. When Kenya sent our troops to Somalia, instead of them fighting the terrorists, they started selling charcoal and running the port. When Kenya sent police officers to go and arrest criminals, they don't arrest them, they do deals with them. So expecting them to come and stabilize your country is expecting too much from our police service, because that's not how they work. They're just a bunch of criminals. And I can say that publicly, and they know that. And there are many reports published. If you look at Kenya had violence in 2007, 2008. Over 1,000 people were murdered, and the violence was politically funded. So politicians came together, funded violence, people were killed. Over 500,000 people were displaced in this country. After the violence ended, there was a peace agreement that was mediated by Kofi Annan. After the peace agreement was signed, there was a Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission that was formed, and a commission of inquiry. And that report was taken to the ICC, and the recommendation was that you must prosecute the perpetrators of the violence. And the list of witnesses that had been collected was given to the ICC. The people who were indicted for crimes against humanity were able to get the list of witnesses, give it to the Kenya police to go and murder the witnesses. So instead of hiring a hitman, our government just sent everyday police officer to go and murder people who are supposed to testify against powerful people. One of the people who was accused of crimes against humanity is our current president. And if you look at the case, he was not acquitted. It was a mystery because there was no one to testify against him. So if the imperialists think that there are people who pose a threat to what they want to do in your country, the best killers, the best hitmen are Kenya police, because they have the experience of killing witnesses and silencing dissent. Kenya police do not go to protest with tear gas. They behave like the Israelis. They go with live bullets and they murder peaceful protesters. They killed 35 people in 1 month this year alone, in July, when they were protesting the streets of Nairobi against the cost of living. And now people were murdered, and till to date, they have not acknowledged the killings. I think the IG, that's the Inspector General of Police, Kome, said that the opposition was hiring bodies from the mortuary or the morgue to go and put in the streets, to parade them in the streets, but that's not true. The police were murdering people, and then they went to a place called Kisumu, and they didn't use live bullets. They removed people from their homes and they bludgeoned them to death, like they beat them to death. And that was the police doing that. And there are countless videos of Kenya police doing those things, and they've been recorded, and they're still working scot-free. So if you want Haitians to be executed, if you want them to be murdered, if you want them to be displaced from their homes, then you should welcome the Kenyan police with open arms.
Thank you, Brother Mwangi. I'm going to turn things over now to our sister there, Dr. Duje Prosper.
Thank you so much for those last words, Boniface Mwangi. They were strong and clear. And I think this bodes well for some of the questions that are coming out in the chat. And I'll start there by saying Dr. Natalie Pierre poses the question, understanding very well that this is also a sort of money laundering opportunity for the Campeador state men to be able to make some money, right? But she's asking, is there more to why Kenya would want to assume this role and play blackface for the United States besides money, right? What else is there in it for Kenya? Or not Kenyan people, right? As Willie Mutunga is making sure that we understand the difference, right, between not just saying Kenya, right, but talking about the misleadership of the Kenyan people. What's in it for Kenya? And I guess anyone can answer this question, right? I see you, Jemima, like, right? You have an answer, but anyone, please go ahead and jump on that question. Because I think there's some geopolitical gain.
So,
yes, please.
Our government is broke and they've been going around with a begging bowl to look for money. And so they were told, you can get a loan from us on one condition: we send troops to go and do our dirty work in Haiti. So there's money involved. The government says that they're going to get money from the UN to cover that. And then on top of that, the IMF and the World Bank will give Kenya money. So there's loan conditions. And I think one of the reasons why we're sending our troops to Haiti, we're fulfilling a World Bank, IMF, US hegemony loan condition. So we're going to get money. Basically, but the money is going to the pockets of the leaders, not us, but the Kenya government, which is led by thugs.
That's correct. And I don't know if you all remember, Lloyd Austin flew to Kenya right before the vote on October 2nd to actually sign a 5-year security agreement with the Kenyan government around, supposedly for not Boko Haram, what's the group? Al-Shabaab, to fight against Al-Shabaab and so on and so forth. So yes, this is about money. It's deploying the language of Pan-Africanism, but it is really about having access to money. They're paid mercenaries to go into Haiti. And this is not the most distressing part is that this is not a UN mission, but is given cover by the UN, is that the US put out $200 million to cover it. And most recently, I think someone from the Kenyan police said, until the money's distributed, they're not going anywhere. And so that tells you what really the issue is for Kenya. For the US, it's a whole different conversation that we can have.
Yeah, we have to put this also in a kind of historical trajectory, and that is. Kenya has always, since independence, has been what the US call, anchor states. Okay, in Africa you have Cairo, you have South Africa, you have Nigeria, and Kenya. And when you talk about the US Africa Command, okay, right, you can actually trace where the bases are. Where the naval troops and whatnot. So it's something that has, has been going on, since independence. And there is also a history of resistance. Okay, our leaders who have been killed, who basically resisted. The first matter was Piogama Pinto, who is well known, a comrade of Malcolm X during that particular period. The people who after independence, said very, very, very clearly that the British stole our land, you know, and we can't buy it back. Okay, but the compradors went ahead and said, yes, we are going to buy it back, you know, and they came up with the principle of willing buyer, willing seller. Okay, and so there's that relationship. Where although there was decolonization, but at the same time, the American empire emerged out of the Second World War and actually continued that, colonization. And if you want to track that, you can read a book that was written by an American ambassador, the first one that John Kennedy appointed in 1963, a guy called William Atwood. And he wrote a book named The Reds and the Blacks. And you find the struggles that happened in Kenya during that period, during the Cold War, and how the compradors were helped to basically defeat the opposition that was very, very radical and against, new colonialism. And that has continued. And that's why the Kenyan army is in Somalia, you know, as I said, the people of East Africa want a federation that comprises DRC, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Okay, that's very clear. But our crisis is a crisis of political leadership. That's what it is. If we had a patriotic leadership, there's no way they will do what the current leadership is doing. A patriotic leadership will basically say, we've got to consult the people. You know, our law says this. Our supreme law says let's have people's participation, and the people will basically, you will speak out. But you have, these what our comrade has called the black minstrels. They are everywhere, or or puppet governments that are used. And I can bet that when the police said that they won't go until they are paid, it's because they know they'll die there and their families won't get any money. The money will be kept, by a leadership, that over 60 years has stolen and wasted our resources. They put money in the offshore accounts. Kenyans will tell you that our sovereign debt equals the money that has been stolen from us. Okay, and there's a report basically that says, an Oxfam report that says that Kenya has 8,300 billionaires, and their assets equal the assets of the rest of us, 50 million. So you can't sustain that kind of stark inequality, and that's a basis of resistance, really. And when issues like Haiti, come up, it's an opportunity for us. It's that invasion is giving us a lot of revolutionary oxygen, against the regime, because we don't agree, and we're not going to solve it. We can't be the mercenaries to subvert the sovereignty of Black people who we should be in solidarity with. Okay, and I think that's a message that we are giving as citizens of Kenya to the Haitian people. That's the message that we want to give, and that's it. Thanks.
I think that's a great way to end and to segue into the second question. Folks are adding questions to the Q&A. Some of the questions are similar. And Dr. Edi Souffran asks, right, where is the evidence of this people-to-people solidarity, despite what we're doing here, of course, and how do we maintain that? How do we actually create that in light of, right, the neo-colonial imperialist project that has other designs? How do we lift up global South connections further to be in solidarity with the Haitian people and the Kenyan people as well? This is an open question to all the panelists. And I would add, right, this is an exercise that we're attempting here in this forum to have people-to-people conversations, right? So this is a type of solidarity action, but are there others that we need to be lifting up in this particular moment to provide an answer to and prevent the U.S. Kenya-led blackface occupation of Haiti? Cool question.
I personally think that the question of where, is this people-to-people solidarity? It's probably a pessimistic question, okay? We might be a small group today that is talking about Haiti, and I noticed that we are, 184, or people who are listening. We have seen examples of the George Floyd, you remember, the Black Lives Matter. We are seeing the occupation of Palestine. We're seeing how resistance is built, because the pulse of the people is against domination, occupation, and imperialism. So it's a question of, and I know a lot of movements in Kenya building those people-to-people solidarities in East Africa and over the continent. Okay, that's a political action among young people, and those are the ones that are going to be global. Okay, and there's global Africa that was very clear to me when George Floyd was killed. I monitored the demonstration all over the place, and I said, "Oh my God, this global Africa is huge." So I think it's happening. It's happening. Resistance to the status quo in the planet is happening. It's of course, a political question, but history records that you can't dominate, occupy, and exploit people, and they don't resist. See, we're getting to that situation where people are basically saying, we are dying anyway, so we had better fight. And one of our field marshals called Dedan Kimathi, quoting other revolutionaries, said that we will die on our feet and not our knees. We'll be fighting. So it's why not these people-to-people solidarities are still being built up, but let's not underestimate them. We've got to grow them. And this particular conversation for me is just an example of various countries, various activists and revolutionaries coming together going to say this is not right.
And I think that's a really good point, because I think at times we get pessimistic because we are people who are forced to be divided, And we tend to not see how we are more similar than we are different. And we were talking about some of these ways that this intervention feels weird, and we don't even know each other's languages, or we were joking, how do we spell Nairobi in Creole, right? And yet there are things that do connect us already. I am thinking about, correct my pronunciation, but Harambe, to pull together, a Kenyan motto that has been used for development and such things. But it's interesting that this is in the Swahili language, as we constantly are saying in Haiti, mettez tête nous ensemble, put our heads together, or talking about combit, to pull things together. And so I really want to highlight that, yes, and it's not just because the color of our skin, but it's also because we share common ways of thinking and viewing the world that I think can be our answer, right? And if we get caught up in, how do we come together with people and have a somewhat pessimistic outlook that these people are so different and so far away as they are, but we need to contextualize those differences and that distance within colonialism and transatlantic slave trades and all of these historical things that have made us feel that we are separated. And as a young person who is, connected to other global movements, as you are saying, I think it's really special when we run into those moments of, oh, actually, that's my cousin. Actually, we're more similar than we are different. And I think those might be the questions that help us answer, what are these people to people? Well, it's really just people. It's not people to people. It's just we are the people.
I wanted to quickly say that this would not be the first time that the imperial powers have used Black communities against other Black communities. Let's remember that they used Caribbean soldiers to actually so-called pacify and conquer West Africa. We have to remember that. We have to remember the British doing that in West Africa in particular. So historically, we've always, our people have been used over and over again. And I think that's what Judge Mutunga was talking about in terms of these always needing these collaborators. I think Professor Lucien also said the same thing as collaborators. I wanted to also quickly say that I think we have to take heart that they have been trying to send this invasion force to Haiti for more than 2 years. And they have not, this is the first time in 2 years, they've had constant pushback. And I think that's a result of more people coming in and talking about it. I've never seen so much conversation around Haiti, so much pushback. And I think the conversations, on social media, I've never heard people talk about Haiti in the way that challenges US imperialism that I have in the past 2 years. And so I do think there's something to be said about the fact that even this could not be a UN sanctioned mission as easily as 2004 was. Look how much trouble they went through. They tried to get Canada to lead it. They tried to get Brazil to lead it. They tried to get CELAC, the Central American and Latin American communities, to lead it. They tried to get CARICOM to lead it. And so finally, they had to go to Kenya. So that to me is actually a positive, and that shows that things are changing. And the easy way that the US used to be able to just go into Haiti, they're not able to. And so I think conversations like this, we're having conversations with people in Latin America. Social movements in Latin America never necessarily dealt with Haiti specifically, but now people are having these conversations. So I think this is a good place to continue. And I think we need to have these conversations and take heart, because this Kenyan-led mission is one that is one of desperation. It's because they couldn't find other ways to get to it. So we have to remember that and keep going.
Thank you. So the question on everybody's mind that keeps coming back up, right? It's in our conversations about Western imperialism. And we had a conversation about what Kenya has to gain, but what does the US have to gain, right? Why are we calling it, right, blackface occupation, US Kenya-led occupation, right? We keep emphasizing that the US is really the power and control here. What's in it for the US is what our listeners are asking? I know you all have burning answers. Just jump in.
I mean, I can start.
Do it.
I think one of the truth is the U.S. does not want to leave its occupation to chance. The U.S. needs the Caribbean region. The U.S. has always wanted, for example, Mosset Nicolas to set up a U.S. military base. They've been trying since the 1800s to do that. The U.S., as it prepares for war with China, needs the Caribbean, needs Haiti as a manufacturing base, right? They need to be able to control, Haitian politics, set up a puppet government in the way that you don't have to kill the mass movement that emerged after the fall of Aristide, after the fall of Duvalier in 1986. And so part of this is to actually remember what the U.S. is doing. It managed to get the IMF to remove fuel subsidies, right? To create an independent, pauperized population that has to actually work in whatever manufacturing plant that they want, right? They want to move away people from their land, from their agricultural land. They want to have access to all the minerals and oil that Haiti has. And they want to be able to control Venezuela, Cuba, and all these areas. And so Haiti is a very strategic geopolitical location for the U.S. And for people who don't believe me, you have to ask yourself, why is it that the fourth largest U.S. embassy in the world is in Haiti? It's because they need Haiti. And we have to remember that this has everything to do with U.S. trying to create this, uphold this PHTK regime that they put in place to begin with, and manufacture elections, choose the leaders in the way that they still can't do to Haiti, and basically use the gangs to kill, as Professor Lucien said, to kill the social movement that's always pushing against U.S. imperialism. So I think geopolitically, we need to really look at what this means for U.S. future goals in the region, but also in its aim to maintain its hegemony across the globe.
Thank you for that. And as we are, about 1 hour and 45 minutes into our conversation, I just wanted to acknowledge that people have been, giving a lot of their energies. And I think this is worth a question to go back to. The particular viewer says, right, are we saying that Haitian collectives against occupation are the ones being branded as gangs? So this was part of Dr. Georges D. Lucien's intervention, and saying that, right, the gangs are confusing us, right? That when we hear narratives about Haiti and gang violence, it serves to confuse us and to obscure that there's actually a struggle that has been taking place, that is still taking place between the Haitian people and this comprador state, meaning, right, the international imperialists. So this is what Georges D. Lucien's expose was about, showing us the ways that gang violence is directly related to repressing movements against, right, capitalism, against white supremacy in Haiti historically. And they serve to confuse us, right? And to just see chaos and not see the struggle that brought us to this moment. So I wanted to invite any one of you to offer some closing remarks. That includes you two, Dr. Gomez, and you two, Naya. And we can begin with Georges D. Lucien. Donc, si Georges D. Lucien t'es capable de nous petit dernier remarque côté vle faire par rapport à question yo, ça ou vle quitter pour public là avant que nous fassions mes conversations après-midi. On met parler.
Oui, même t'as fait un petit commentaire sur question gang yo. Et ça gang a fait et dans toute histoire occupation en Haïti, parce que généralement les affaires occupation faut un argument, faut un argumentaire. Faut faire que société arrive dans une situation pas quelqu'un bien encore. Au gang là joue ça, c'est un territoire répulsif. Par exemple, en 94, il y a une série de crimes qui fait avant, par exemple, et Gonaïve, yo, massacre qui était fait de Gonaïve là. Après, Izmeri, à l'enterrement, devant l'église, yo tué ministre justice là. Yo tué Père Jean-Marie Vincent. Donc, tout acte ça, c'est des actes pour faire que, ah, mes amis, occupation, les nécessités. Donc, nous pas l'autre alternative. Eh bien, gang nan, il joue rôle ça. C'est-à-dire que, par exemple, on voit que avant de faire rencontre Nations Unies, hein, gang nan vraiment été discipliné. Comprendre? Yo paraît ni balai, yo tiré sous l'hôpital, et puis yo fait mon courir et cafoufeuille. Et puis une fois que décision fin prendre dans les Nations Unies, yo temporisé. C'est-à-dire yo là pour yo justifier, yo là à la fois tout pour yo rendre territoire répulsif pour moun pas arrêter. Mais dans le même temps tout yo là pour empêcher moun lever camper. Donc il y a plusieurs fonctions. C'est vrai ça, tu as parlé d'occupation. Si que gang n'a pas fait tout ça, est-ce que pour qui ça peut d'accord faire occupation? Sinon, c'est une discipliner gang en plus. Donc, ça, c'est deux éléments, même parce que qui est extrêmement important, parce que pour faire occupation, ça ne pas suffit. Il faut que vous jouiez sur l'opinion publique là. Et c'est ça que force nous là. Force nous, c'est créer des lieux pour nous comprendre enjeu occupation. Pour que, par exemple, pour moun Kenya yo rende compte, pour qui ça, que, qui objectif occupation. Parce que objectif occupation, je ne vais pas en parler. Et puis, deuxième élément qui est important, qui vient en Haïti, c'est que occupant yo, pas de monde pour qui vienne parler pour yo. Parce que moun qui parle, il faut le bon crédit, faut le crédible. Et je dis, moun pour qui te parle pour yo, fini en dans pays. Donc, et crédibilité que nous gagnons aujourd'hui, tu gagné de figures qui te gagnent en Haïti, c'est-à-dire que nous avons des données, nous structurées, nous argumentées. Ça pas suffit. Nous avons crédit. C'est-à-dire que figures qui parlent sur la question de l'occupation, de plus en plus au-dessus de tout soupçon. Et moun pour qui viennent parler pour yo pas de crédit. Que ce soit au niveau international, que ce soit au niveau local. Et ça, c'est extrêmement important. Il est capable d'être moral, mais il est fondamental. Discours, c'est qui est-ce qui porte. Et de plus en plus, il y a des organisations en un pays, il y a des organisations qui sont en dehors du pays, il y a des figures en dans le pays, il y a des figures en dehors du pays, qui parlent d'occupation et qui gagnent crédit. Et ça sont éléments extrêmement importants par rapport à Haïti qui trouvait dans une situation révolutionnaire. Mais si c'était une situation révolutionnaire, là, un indicateur, c'est lorsque le peuple peut lever campé, une fréquence très forte dans le lever campé, et puis l'oligarchie locale là, internationale là, incapable pour le faire entrer. Ça nous manque aujourd'hui, c'est ça nous les organisations qui peuvent avancer. C'est ça nous manque aujourd'hui. C'est-à-dire que toutes conditions sont réunies pour que Haïti arrive, au premier moment, créer une condition pour une transition de rupture et pour arriver effectivement après à installer un gouvernement qui marie fâché à système capitaliste. Et c'est ça nous manque aujourd'hui, c'est de organisation, mais nous avons deux éléments dans nous et nous ne pouvons pas avancer sans que par une connexion entre différentes organisations. Si nous prenons l'exemple île Noire, République dominicaine et Haïti, les gouvernements plus ou moins progressistes République dominicaine ont utilisé le gouvernement haïtien. Les gouvernements haïtiens ont une situation intéressante en Haïti, ont utilisé le gouvernement République dominicaine. Et qui ça manqué? Par exemple, rien de ça fait pour que travailleurs ou bien organisations progressistes révolutionnaires dans différents, dans deux républiques, yo liés. Parce que le système capitaliste là, il empêché que les travailleurs mettent ensemble. Pourtant, bourgeoisie mettent ensemble. C'est peut-être ça, parole Karl Marx là, qui dit que prolétaires de tous les pays, unissez-vous, lit vraiment actualitaire. Donc, une nécessité pour nous rapprocher nous. Question couleur yo secondaire par rapport à rapprochement de classe. par rapport à rapprochement de monde qui besoin de mettre fin à ce système, système capitaliste là. Donc, ce n'est pas un grain de monde, ce n'est pas une seule organisation, c'est unité entre différentes organisations, différentes grandes figures, même si on a des réalités différentes, ils font face à même ennemi, un système d'exploitation qui est là depuis des siècles, qui empêchait que nous vivions, qui empêchait que nous créions des conditions de solidarité pour nous aboutir à un territoire solidaire et égalitaire. Donc, génération nous, génération nous, on parle seulement pour lui créer conditions pour nous-mêmes, nous profiter de lui. Donc, il ne suffit pas d'être bon, mais surtout pour nous laisser un monde bon. Et nous avons conditions pour que, effectivement, pour génération après, a dit, monde ça a été utile, mais utile là, nous créer conditions pour nous vraiment faire rupture à ça que je dis, c'est-à-dire ça, système capitaliste produit. Et pièce solution pas qu'à sortir à l'intérieur du système ça. Et toutes solutions sont l'autre voie vers vraiment le socialisme. Merci.
Merci, Georges. Again, just 1 minute per speaker to close this out. I'm just looking at some of the things that are being generated in the Q&A about vetting those people who are here talking. And I wanted to highlight again, we're talking about folks who are researchers, scholars, but also embedded in movement and organizations and grassroots, both here in the US and in Haiti, as well as Kenya. Right? These are also folks, though, they may have these sort of prestigious titles, are also part of what we would consider as the people who are anchored in struggles in their own locations. So I wanted to lift up these other hats and roles that all 4 of our speakers play in movement building and these respective locations. And this is part of why we wanted them, not just as the experts that they are, but as people involved in movement to take the floor today and take us through this conversation. So I'm inviting again our other 3 speakers to just close us out with quick remarks, and then we will let everyone go.
I'd like to
go ahead.
I like to, and I am based, I'm Haitian, je suis Haitienne, natif natal. I am based in the US, but I do want to say that I want to point out specifically those of us in the diaspora, what role we have to play as we live in the belly of the beast. And so I think we need to challenge the imperial powers. I think we need to challenge US imperialism. I think we need to find out the structures that are working to keep Haiti the way it is. I think organizations such as the HSA, organizations such as the American Studies Association should put out statements to go against this intervention. That's our jobs as academics with the roles that we have. And I think it's true, as Judge Montenga said, it is better to live on your feet than to die on your knees. And I think we need to take these opportunities as academics with access to resources, the US resources, to actually take a solid stand and not hide behind our academic work. And I think it's important. This is a matter of life and death. And I think we need to keep moving and keep fighting against intervention, against murders, against US imperialism. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just wanted to reiterate what Dr. Jimmy Mapierre is asking specifically to the Haitian Studies Association crowd, is to put yourself forward as scholars, but who are engaged and want a better Haiti, to do something as simple as putting out a clear statement about what we understand this moment to be. I just wanted to make sure everybody heard that part, and invite Justice Willie Mutunga and Boniface Mwangi to share some last words with us very quickly, please. Any parting words?
Yeah, we wanted to let you know that one of famous revolutionary writers, in the US, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, has spoken out about this issue. Share and he stated very, very clearly he's opposed to this, and is crying for, the lives of the Asian people. So there's great solidarity, from intellectuals as well.
So the Kenya government loves public relations, and if you're able to fight them back with facts and go back to their funders, show their track record as killers, then Haiti may succeed in actually ensuring they don't get occupying force their country. So you need to find ways to go to every government that matters. If you're going to write to the UN, protesters at the White House, Downing Street number 10, where it matters, and embarrass the Kenyan government. And holding images of their victims and saying we don't want Haitians to be killed like Kenya police the way they kill Kenyans, then you'll succeed. So you need to frame, and you need to show what the police does to Kenyans.
But you can help them with that.
I can help you design a campaign. That's what Will is saying, because I design advocacy campaign. But design a campaign that shows who the true colors of. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I was saying that you need to show the true colors of the Kenya police, and all the atrocities they have committed in the past. Human Rights Watch has dozens of reports on Kenya police. And their track record is enough to ensure that they don't get to Haiti.
So it seems that some sort of a task force energies can maybe
unless
out of this conversation.
Unless the intention of the US government and the UN is for Kenya police to come and murder you, you should not accept an occupying force in your country.
I think that's the goal. The goal is to send people to kill us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you, Dr. Jimmy Pierre. Thank you, Dr. Georges Dilucien. Thank you, Justice Willie Mutunga and Boniface Mwangi for being here. Thank you, Dr. Gomez. Thank you, Naya. Thank you, HSA and all of the different sponsors for making this possible. And we look forward to the work that is going to emerge out of this conversation, namely the statement. Cecile raised your hand.
I'm inviting.
Okay, Cecile is
the make sure, Dr. Gomez, if there was anything.
Yes, please, Dr. Gomez.
Yes.
I just want to thank everyone for your participation. I learned a great deal. Important conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci en pile on behalf of the Haitian Studies Association, au nom de Association étudiants haïtiens, me dit tout le monde un bel merci à Ibobo, à Sante Sana, especially to our brothers joining us from Kenya. We must not let language, capitalism, imperialism, neocolonialism, and other ism keep us from working together. I really, really appreciate the work that our colleagues did, both panelists and Naya and Mamira for putting this together. A big thanks to the interpreters. But I do want to remind everyone, these type of programs, in order for us to continue them, we need work, we need labor, we need volunteers, we need resources, both in terms of people resources and in terms of financial resources. We encourage you to become members, to donate to HSA, to volunteer, to be part of a committee. I'm feeling the vibe and the energy. You all enjoy this, but these programs cannot just happen by magic. I mean, Naya and Mami are all magicians, scholars, activists, but we need your help. So please join, contact us. There are so many ways for you to get involved. And I hear you. I hear the call. We have been working on a statement for over 3 months. It keeps going. New things happen. We need voices. We need scholars, young, old, and between. We need activists. We need artists. We need community. We need everyone. So that's my plea to you all. This is great, but for this to happen, this is your organization. You need to join us for us to continue this type of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. And in closing, I'm just going to say, there's a smell passing through the hearts of our countries. A toxic smell filling our nostrils. What will we do about it? I love you all. I pray that you find strength and peace and rest, and that we can get back on our feet as soon as we are done resting. Thank you, Ayi Bobo. Merci en pile. Merci en pile, oui.
Ayi Bobo.
Okay.
Hey, Bobo. Thank
Hey,
you.
Bobo.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much to the interpreters for your work.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Very good.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Merci,
That was
Georgie.
amazing, you guys. Thank you. Merci en pile, Georgie dit.
Oui, merci.
Merci pour le
Merci,
travail. Wap fait, nous besoin voir moun de yo, nous connaît lit là.